Soul Garden.
Hello my heroes, and welcome back to Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host of the universe, Christopher Witecki. And I want to welcome you down to soulgarden.me. We now have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if you don't know, I am now on Fridays at noon. It's called Unite the Light, where I kind of chat up with people in the garden. Last week I met a lot of people I'd never seen on camera, so it's super exciting. Come on down, chat it up with us on Fridays at noon, or come visit our wonderful Soulmart practitioners on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Either way, we love you at soulgarden.me. Well, we are wrapping up the sun in Cancer. If you're just joining us, welcome to the garden. I'm Christopher Witecki, and the Aries tribe is working on nesting, resting, home and family foundation, and what that really means is your emotional state of awareness, the part of you that is emotional. So everyone on earth is working on their emotions, and for Aries, that means you're going right to the root of the matter, which is home family, the way you were raised, the way you respond emotionally, the way you've trained yourself to respond emotionally. Working up through the weeks, we were identifying emotional contexts that don't work. We were shopping for new contexts. We were stepping into the shui. And this week, we are stepping into the passion. Honestly, passion is how masters do their work. Master shuis, in my opinion. You have to drive from the passion. And what I talk about in Master Shui and Lightcast Bootcamp all the time is that the way of really being our best in life is to be clear on what our emotional responses are, to be clear on what our intellectual responses are, and then to stand and surf. To surf that passionate wave. And our emotional state of awareness has so much rich information in it to all of what our states tell us, that by following our passions, not just in life as far as direction, but in response in the moment, if they're pre-programmed, is the way to play. So as we start on Monday, the universe is a little inside out. For one, Mercury is retrograde. It retrograded over the weekend. This means we'll be thinking backwards. The truth is the intellectual state of awareness has two towers, Gemini. And what happens is everyone leads with one and always has one that's kind of in the background. In a retrograde, they switch places. So quiet people become chatty, chatty people become quiet, and you start looking kind of inside out at your life, and that's God's point. Let's look inside out at this, make sure we're not missing anything underneath the seams. So Mercury retrograde does mean that you're thinking inside out about what your heart wants, because it is in Leo. So thinking a little differently about what your heart wants. And at the same time, we are trying to find balance. Trying to find balance because Venus rules the day. But Venus rules the day now that we're in our passionate shui. So finding balance is not a logical thing. It is a reacting to our emotions and keeping it in the chill. Now, of course, what are you working on? Your emotional response and your own personal response to your emotions. All right, there's different things. One is to the outside world, one is to the inside world. My biggest concern for y'all is the inside world. How are you speaking to yourself? How tough are you being on yourself on the inside? Are you nurturing a happy Aries, or are you trying to, create a soldier? And how's that working anyways? So on Monday, there is some innovation. You might have to try new things with yourself, is what I'm basically saying. And the moon in Gemini makes you very intellectual, pulls you into emotional life to a little bit easier than usual to get into fights with yourself. So caution on Monday in that regard. Then on Tuesday, Neptune rules the day, so we're logging in and checking in with our higher self as to what the hell should we do anyways. The psychic state of awareness is the dominant state of awareness on Tuesday, so everyone is more intuitive. The moon moves into Cancer, so you are nesting, resting, and being pulled into that vibration. And I want to point out an opposition that comes to a head on this day between Mars in Libra and Uranus in your sign, Aries. What this is on this day, as you are intuiting, as you are nesting and resting, I think you're coming to a final decision of how to balance these two forces. By two forces, I mean your need to innovate your ego with Uranus and your need to move forward with the appropriate self-relationship and other outside party relationships as of now. So Mars says, get moving with the new marriage policy, how you marriage yourself, how you marry others. And Uranus says, and innovate your ego, which is what Aries are all about. So With all due respect to my fellow Rams, you are being asked to lift up the house, swap out the basement, and put it down gently. The universe is asking that by asking you to innovate your ego while you're trying to ground yourself and move forward with marriage. It is tough. I'm curious to see how you do, and if you're on the site on Friday, come on down and tell me, Rams. I'm curious how you are on this. But on this day, Tuesday, intuiting this Grand Slam and deciding the balance between ego and marriage. On Wednesday, Saturn rules the day. It's a day of making decisions, and it's Lightcast Day, the most powerful day of the month to manifest our intentions. Why? Well, because the sun and moon, the two first ingredients of manifestation, I love and I feel, are combined. So I love, I feel combines, and suddenly we are feeling it. Now, in your case, you're probably feeling all high and holy at home. This is a nesting, resting transit. After all, this is a transit about how you emotionally respond to yourself and that turns into the home you create and the family you surround yourself with, as it manifests out and out in the material. So on Wednesday, you were holding space and deciding what is going to be your home family foundation policy. Where are you planting your soul garden? What kind of neighbors are you going to have? And are you going to respond to yourself nice or not nice or what? Okay, this is the decision and the commitment you want to make. Those watched over by GA will get lots of Witecki reminding you at the peak of the Lightcast. So make sure you are living, loving, and being on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's time to act already. We're time to act. So Mars rules a day. People may or may not be cranky. The moon moves into Leo, so your emotions meet your intellect in the inner child. So you're emotional, intellectually focused in inner child on this day. And not just inner child, Mercury retrograde inner child, which means the child is saying things it normally doesn't say. Watch your mouth on Thursday. You're going to feel very much empowered to complain. And the universe is giving us the blessing of a yod. Remember this? We had a yod pointing into Mars. Now we have a yod pointing into Pluto retrograde at 7 degrees. And it comes down to Jupiter, Venus here in Gemini, over to today's Moon, Mercury in Leo, up to Pluto. Now Pluto retrograde is saying, okay, Aries, here's how it's going to work. Take your new attitude with Jupiter, take your inner child's tantrums, and rethink your career direction. What? Yes, that's right. You might have to reconsider career direction. And you might reconsider it in the sense of intuition. What are your gut, your guides telling you? Highly likely your guides and gut are telling you to do something that doesn't make sense on Earth. That is called being saved. Okay, it is not being awkward, but this is a day where you definitely want to listen and reconsider with Pluto retrograde 7 degrees. Now, the last time Pluto was retrograde 7 degrees, by the way, was 1766, July 26, 1766. That was the last time it was retrograde 7 degrees. We were 10 years away from the revolution. Then on Friday, we moved to Friday. It's kind of a fun day. It's not going to be a bad day. In fact, this is probably the day your inner child finally gets to play because the moon is in Leo, so you're feeling the inner child. There's a day of holding space. Yesterday, we wanted to act on that new home family foundation. Today, we want to just hold what that was. So you're squatting in your new real estate or squatting in your new soul garden or squatting in your new self-nurturing policies and attitudes. There's also a trine I want to make quite clear that is kind of continuing forward. We talked about this last week, but Jupiter, Gemini, which is saying, think bigger, Aries. Your own mind is probably what holds you back. And not only that, but an open mind leads to new marriage, new partnership. I was going to say open marriage, but that was funny. But a new mind, an open mind leads to new kinds of, or moving forward with marriage. So the point with this trine is, if you're stuck in your relationships, it's probably a closed mind. That's what I'm trying to get to on Friday. Then on Saturday, it is the test of our inner faith. It is a day of passion. It is a day of moving forward. Step into your full passion, shui. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just shui forward with what you know. But you'll be tested to shui backward. All right? That is because the moon rules the day. Now, the moon is in Virgo, so it is highly hyper-aware. It is highly bumping the road. Oh, you're feeling it. Your body's feeling it. It's one of those days where we really can just kind of melt into ourselves. That, of course, is what you don't want to do. You want to shui forward. I'm going to take care of myself. I don't care how crappy I feel. I'm still going to make sure that I get my tea in the morning. Just shui forward. That's what we're going to be pushing for when we would text you. Also, I want to point out how big of a holy day this is. Look at this. This is a double square and the yod. And what is it all holy helling to? Pluto. That means that it is time to reconsider not just career legacy. I guess I should extend it. But the criteria in which you make decisions. In fact, maybe the issue here is actually decision-making criteria. In fact, maybe the issue here is that you never consider in your career your home family foundation when you're making decisions in career. All I know is that the universe is putting oh holy here with Pluto at the top of this. It's like the eye on a frickin' pyramid. And it means that you are breaking away from fears with your own ego innovation. You're breaking away from fears with where you want your family and you want marriages to go. And you have to break from these fears to change this criteria. So part of changing your decision criteria, or part of changing your career, what has held you back, the universe says your own ass ego and your own attitudes or your own marriage commitment. So Saturday is an interesting day. Stay forward, stay passionate, stay cool. Then on Sunday it is 0 degrees and Pluto rules the day. That means it's a day of death. What's dying? Whew, this emotional state of awareness transit. Thank goddess for that. What's being born? Oh, an inner child transit. Now that we have gotten the crib ready, it is time to see how the baby is. And that's what the next 30 days will be for the Rams. This particular day will feel pretty cloudy, pretty weird, and hyper aware. So I think you'll probably be feeling oversensitive and not so happy on Sunday. Not to mention Mercury is still retrograde, and we still have that whole holy Pluto up in the sky. But we are in transition, so just let it ride, and I'll come back on Monday with instructions of what to do next. All right, my Rams, that's all I have for this 7 days, but I'll see you in 7 more. Until then, live, love, be.